Classification of crystalline solids.
Okay, classification of crystalline solids. You have completed that topic, right? Tell me, yes or no? I think yes, right? All of you, please switch on your videos. Yeah, diamond and graphite. That means you have completed. Okay. So anyone please tell me which are the different types of solids or how can we classify solids? Punya, which are the different classifications?
Amorphous solids.
That's also one classification. But how can we classify or different types of solids that you have learned recently?
You mean classification of crystalline solids?
No. Yeah, that one. Crystalline solids. Yes, yes.
Molecular solids, ionic solids, covalent solids, metallic crystals.
Okay, fine. Then how can we classify this molecular solids, Achyut? Can you tell me? Please unmute, unmute. Unmute, I can't hear you.
And the process of molecules.
Molecular solids again classified into non-polar, polar, and hydrogen bond, right? You have learned that one? Okay, fine. So there are certain questions in your textbook based on this. We can discuss it in today's class itself, okay? Then today I'm going to teach you a new topic. We can discuss one new topic, that is crystal lattices and unit cells. Crystal lattices and unit cells. Do you have any idea about this one, unit cell or crystal lattice? Yes or no? No. Okay, we can learn. Don't worry. Okay. So, imagine. Okay, imagine when you have to make a building. What's the basic thing or what is the basic unit you have needed? You can tell me which material, which substance is needed. Brick, right? Yes, that's correct. So we arrange these bricks along with some other substance. Leave that. We just arrange these bricks in a repeated manner, in a three-dimensional way to make a building, right? Yes. Then one another case, as kids, you have play with certain blocks, right? You have arranged these blocks to make certain building patterns. Yeah. Similarly, this crystal structure or this crystal system, it's also made by arranging some units, okay, some building blocks. We call this smallest repeating unit as a unit cell. Clear? In the crystalline structure also, we arrange a smallest particle that in a repeated manner in a three-dimensional way to make an entire crystal. That smallest unit, it is known as unit cell. Is this concept clear for you? The smallest repeating unit that we can arrange in a three-dimensional way to make an entire crystal. That smallest unit is known as unit cell. Okay, I will give you the proper definition. Don't worry, okay? Then we can arrange this unit cell in a repeated manner in a three-dimensional array. What do you mean by three-dimensional? Three-dimensional. It's along three axes. You have familiar with X and Y, right? Yeah. Along with X and Y, there is one more axis, that is Z. So it's arranged in three axes. Along the plane, then board is considered as one plane. Then towards me is one plane. And there is one plane along the wall also. I will make it clear. Okay, so we can arrange this smallest repeating unit cell in a three-dimensional way to make a entire crystal. That entire crystal, it is known as crystal lattice. So we can make a crystal lattice by the repeated arrangement of this unit cell. Clear? So unit cell is considered as the building block of a crystal. Unit cell is considered as the building block of a crystal. There are certain points in this crystal lattice. Okay, there are certain points. And this points, each point in a crystal lattice, it is known as lattice point or lattice site. So you have to note three terms here: unit cell, then crystal lattice, and lattice point. Is the screen visible for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So you can write unit cell, the smallest portion of a crystal lattice, the repetition of which in different directions produce the whole crystal, it is called unit cell. The smallest portion of a crystal lattice, the repetition of which in different directions, that means in 3 dimensions, okay, to produce the whole crystal is called unit cell. Unit cell is a building block of a crystal. Unit cell is a building block of a crystal. I think it's more clear from this image also. This entire figure is considered as a crystal lattice, and this small cube, the smallest particle or the smallest portion, it is considered as the unit cell. So the smallest portion of a crystal lattice, the repetition of which in different direction produce the whole crystal, it is called unit cell. So unit cell is a building block of crystal. Gauri, can you read the slide?
A unit cell, the smallest portion of a crystal lattice, the repetition of which in different directions produce a whole crystal is called unit cell. Unit cell is a building block of a crystal.
Okay, is this clear for you?
Yeah, ma'am.
Shall I move to next one? Yes, okay. So next one, crystal lattice. That's also we discussed. Crystal lattice is a three-dimensional array of points at which the particles in a crystal is placed. So that entire crystal, it is termed as crystal lattice. We can arrange this unit cell in a repeated manner, in a regular way, in a three-dimensional arrangement. It is known as crystal lattice. And you can see there are certain points like this in yellow colored, right? This one is known as the lattice point or lattice site. Each point in a crystal lattice, it is called lattice point or lattice site. So the crystal lattice, it is the three-dimensional array of points at which the particles in a crystal is placed. And each point in a crystal lattice is called lattice point or lattice site. Nandana, can you read this slide?
Crystal lattice is a three-dimensional array of points at which the particles in a crystal is placed.
Okay.
Each point in a crystal lattice is lattice point or lattice site.
Okay. This is finished. Yes. Yes. Shall I move to next one? Okay, then we are going to learn the characteristics of a crystal lattice. There are mainly 3 characteristics of a crystal lattice. Before that, you have just familiar with this figure. That's it. Okay, this one is considered as a crystal lattice. That means smallest repeating unit. It is arranged in a 3-dimensional way. Okay, and this smallest one, this cube, smallest cube, it is considered as the unit cell. And this entire figure is considered as a crystal lattice, and each point it is considered as lattice point or lattice site. Okay, lattice site. Okay, then we can learn characteristics of this crystal lattice. There are mainly 3 points. Okay, that first point that already discussed. Each point in a crystal lattice, it is called lattice point or lattice site. Each point in a crystal lattice, it is called lattice point or lattice site. And this lattice point, it may be a molecule, atom, or an ion. Okay, each point in a lattice is called lattice point or lattice site. It may be a molecule, atom, or an ion. It depends upon the particle it is made up of. Clear? So this entire crystal is made with this particle. It may be a molecule or either atom or an ion. So this lattice point, it creates its shape. That's the second point. Each point in a crystal lattice represents one constituent particle, which may be an atom, a molecule, or an ion. First point, this point is known as crystal lattice or lattice point. And the second point, each point in a crystal lattice that represents, that means this lattice site or lattice point, it represents one constituent particle. Constituent particle means the particle in which that entire substance is made up of, right? So the constituent particle, it may be an atom or sometimes molecule or otherwise ion. Okay. And these lattice points are joined by straight lines to bring out the geometry of the lattice. That means this lattice point creates the shape of that molecule. In the case of the previous figure, you have observed that there are certain points and we draw a straight line through these points. We can obtain that a cube structure, right? A large cube structure. So when we join these points through a straight line, we will obtain the geometry of that lattice. That's it. Okay. So these are the main 3 characteristics of a crystal lattice. First one, each point in that lattice is called lattice point or lattice site. The second point, each point in a crystal lattice, it represents its constituent particle. It may be an atom, a molecule, or an ion. And the third point, when we join this lattice points through a straight line, it will bring out its geometry of the lattice. That means it creates the shape of that lattice. So these 3 are the main characteristics of crystal lattice. Aditya, can you tell me the characteristics of a crystal lattice?
Yes, ma'am. Each point in a lattice is called lattice point or lattice site.
Yeah.
Each point in a crystal lattice represents one constituent particle, which may be an atom, a molecule, or an ion.
Yes.
Lattice points are joined by straight lines to bring out the geometry of the lattice.
Okay. So these 3 are the main characteristics of crystal lattice. Clear? Is this clear for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. In the similar way, this unit cell is also characterized by certain parameters. Okay. This unit cell, it's also characterized by certain parameters. That is 6 parameters are there. Okay, 6 parameters are there. It is mainly edge length and axial angles or angles between that edge length. We can discuss it. Yeah. Unit cell is characterized by 6 parameters. Okay. That is the dimension along the 3 edges A, B, and C. Dimensions along the 3 edges A, B, and C. And the angles between the edges alpha, beta, and gamma. There is one corner in each crystal lattice. It will be arranged in a 3 dimension. Okay. So this is X, then Y, Z axis. So this edge length, it is considered as A, this one as B, and this one as C. Okay, that is in this figure also. Okay, A, then B, and C. This one is A, this one is B, and this one is C. So these are the 3 edges. And along with this edge length, angles are there. Between A and B, there is an angle gamma. Here it is alpha, then beta. Okay. So there are 6 parameters, 3 edge length A, B, and C. And along with that, angles between these edges, alpha, beta, and gamma. So these 6 parameters are useful to characterize a unit cell. It's very important. Using these characteristics, we are going to classify this unit cell into different types. Okay. This is clear for you? Okay, so Ashwin, can you tell me which are the parameters that used to characterize a unit cell?
Dimensions along 3 edges A, B, and C.
Yeah, then?
Angle between edges alpha, beta, gamma.
Yeah, alpha, beta, and gamma. So A, B, and C, here 3 edge length. Then along with that, 3 angles. Okay, so total 6 parameters. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
the angles will be always 90 degree, right?
Yeah, in the case of cube, it is 90 degree. But in the case of other unit cells, it's different. Not only cube is considered as an unit cell. We can discuss it in the next classes. Okay, different types of unit cells. Okay. Clear? Achyut, is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. In the case of cube, it is 90 degree. Okay. So shall I move to next one? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So based on this, we can classify unit cells into 2 categories. Okay. Unit cells can be broadly divided into 2 categories. First one, primitive unit cell. Okay. Primitive unit cell. And the second one is centered unit cell. Primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. These are the 2 types of unit cell. This just broadly divided. Again, the centered unit cell is divided into different types. So first of all, unit cells can be broadly divided into 2 types, primitive unit cells and centered unit cells. It's very simple. First, in the case of primitive unit cell, in the case of a cube, you can look into this image. How many corners are there for a cube? How many corners? Tell me. How many corners are there for a
8.
cube? 8, right? So, in a primitive unit cell, the constituent particles are present only on the corner positions of a unit cell. Okay. Constituent particles only present at the corners. That means in the case of a cube, 8 corners. Okay. So when the constituent particles are present only at the corner positions of a unit cell, it is called as primitive unit cell. So that's the first type of unit cell, primitive unit cell. The constituent particles are only present at the corner positions of a unit cell. It is called as primitive unit cell. This is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then the second type, that is known as centered unit cells. Okay. Centered unit cells. In the case of centered unit cell, the unit cell contains one or more constituent particles present at positions other than corners. Okay. Some particle contains, this unit cell contains constituent particles not only at corners but also at certain other positions. Okay, it is called the centered unit cell. There are certain constituent particles in corners. Along with that, there are some constituent particles in other positions. Such type of unit cells together known as centered unit cells. Okay, so mainly classification of this unit cells into two types, primitive unit cells and centered unit cells. In the case of primitive unit cell, constituent particles are only present at the corners of that unit cell, corner positions of that unit cell. But in the case of centered unit cell, along with that corners, some other positions also occupied by this particle. So that's the main difference between primitive unit cell and centered unit cells. Adul, which are the two types of unit cells?
Primitive unit cell and centered unit cell.
Okay, primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. Emmanuel, what's the difference between primitive unit cell and centered unit cell?
Primitive will have constant particles at the corner.
Yeah, only at the corners. Then what about centered unit cell?
It may have constant particles more than one in the corners.
No, including corners, but also in other position. Okay, in all corner positions, along with that, constituent particles in some position, some other position. We can check which all positions occupied by this particle in the next classification. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I'm repeating it once again. Unit cells can be broadly divided into two categories. First one, primitive unit cell. Second one, centered unit cell. In the case of primitive unit cell, constituent particles only present at the corner positions of a unit cell. And in the case of centered unit cell, along with the particles present at the corners, there is some other position also occupied by this particle. It is known as centered unit cell. Clear? Is this clear? This classification? Yes, right? So we can again classify this centered unit cell. Is this image clear for you? So, yes, right? Okay. So the unit cell is classified into primitive and centered unit cell. This centered unit cell again classified into three types. First one, body centered unit cell. Second one, face centered unit cell. And third one, end centered unit cell. If it is not clear, you can write body centered. Okay. And the second one, face centered. And the third one, end centered. centered unit cells, again classified into body centered unit cell, face centered unit cell, and end centered unit cell. Okay, then we can learn what does this body-centered, face-centered, or end-centered unit cell means. Okay, first one, body-centered unit cells. In the centered unit cell, you have learned that along with the corner position, some other position is also occupied by this constituent particle. So here in this body-centered unit cell, if the particles are seen at the body center in addition to 8 corners of a unit cell, it is body-centered. So there are 8 corners for a cube, 8 positions occupied in the corners. Along with that, the body center, that means center of that body, center of that cube, it is also occupied by one particle. So 8 corners plus 1, that is body centered. That is known as body centered unit cell. The particles are seen at the body center in addition to 8 corners of unit cell. It is body centered unit cell. It comes under the classification of centered unit cells. All of you, please switch on your videos. Krishna, what do you mean by body-centered unit cell? Can you read this?
If the particles are seen at the body center in addition to the 8 corners of unit cell, it is body center.
Okay, this is clear for you. First one, body-centered unit cell. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we can move to next one. That is face-centered unit cell. Before that, you can tell me how many faces are there for a cube? Faces. Ah, which one? Tell me.
6.
6, right? Yeah, 6 faces are there for a cube. So here it's in the name itself, face-centered unit cell. Here the particles are seen at the centers of each face in addition to 8 corners. Okay. The particles are seen at the center of each face. In the case of a cube, there are 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, then 4, 5, and 6. Top and bottom 2 faces, then 4 faces along the sides, right? So there are 6 faces. Here face-centered unit cell means particles are seen at the center of each face. This pink colored particle, it is at the center of each face. Along with that, 8 corners occupied by this particle. It is known as face-centered unit cell. If the particles are seen at centers of each face in addition to the 8 corners of unit cell, it is face-centered. So in this figure, this yellow colored balls are occupied in the 8 corners, and this pink colored balls, it's occupied in the center of each faces. Okay. In the case of cube, there are 6 faces. So this particle is occupied in the center of 6 faces. Clear? Anna?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What is face-centered unit cell?
If the particles are seen at the each face of the unit cell,
Along with?
along with 8 corners.
Don't forget that 8 corners. Okay. Along with 8 corners, the 6 faces also occupied. Okay. Clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Then there is one more classification, that is N-centered unit cell. N-centered unit cell. Do you have any idea from this image? Anyone? Anthony, can you tell me? N-centered unit cell. Which all positions occupied by this particle?
Two upper and bottom.
Okay. That means 2 opposite faces. Okay. Along with 8 corners, 2 opposite face centers also occupied by this particle. It is known as N-centered unit cell. If the particles are present at center of 2 opposite faces, in addition to 8 corners of unit cell, it is N-centered. So we have learned 3 types of centered unit cell. First one, body-centered unit cell. Second one, face-centered unit cell. And the third one, N-centered unit cell. In the case of body-centered unit cell, along with 8 corners, center of body also occupied by certain particle. And in the second case, face-centered unit cell, along with this 8 corners, the center of each face is occupied by a particle. And in the case of N-centered unit cell, particles is present at the corners and also occupied by the center of 2 opposite faces. Okay. Is this clear for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, all of you. Yes. So today we learned 3 main terms: unit cell, crystal lattice, then lattice point or lattice site. Then we learned about the characteristics of crystal lattice. Then the unit cell is also characterized by certain parameters, that is edge length and angle between these edges, right? That is 6 parameters. Then we learned different types of unit cell, that is primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. This centered unit cell again classified into 3 types: body-centered unit cell, then face-centered unit cell, third one N-centered unit cell. Do you have any doubt on this topic? Anyone? No? Okay, Lydia,
Yes, ma'am.
what do you mean by a unit cell? You can say it in your own words.
The smallest portion of a crystal lattice.
Smallest portion of a crystal lattice. Then how it arranged or how it is connected to a crystal? Tell me. Now you can read it, no issues.
Ma'am, I didn't write that.
Why? You joined late?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Gayatri, can you tell me?
Can you please say the question again?
What do you mean by a unit cell?
It's the smallest portion of a crystal lattice.
Yeah.
It is like the repetition of this unit cells in different directions gives us a crystal lattice.
Okay, to make a entire crystal. Okay, fine. That is known as unit cell, or otherwise unit cell is a building block of a crystal, right? Then what is known as a crystal lattice? Vidur?
It is a three-dimensional array of points.
Yeah. three-dimensional array of points in a repeated manner. Okay, that's fine. It is known as crystal lattice. Then what about lattice point or lattice site? Naureen?
Each point in a crystal lattice is called lattice point.
Okay, each point in a crystal lattice is called lattice point or lattice site. Then what about the characteristics of crystal lattice? Achyut, can you tell me? Characteristics of a crystal lattice.
Each point in a lattice is called a lattice point or lattice site.
Okay.
It may be a molecule, atom, or an atom.
Okay, fine.
Each point in a crystal lattice represents one constituent particle, which may be an atom, a molecule, or an ion.
Okay.
And lattice points are joined by straight lines to bring out the geometry of the lattice.
Okay, when we join these points, we got its geometry. That means we can predict its entire shape. Okay, then which are the parameters that helps to characterize a unit cell? Sania, can you tell me?
Dimensions along the three edges, A,
Yeah.
B, and C.
Okay, then.
The angle between the edges, alpha, beta, and gamma.
Okay, so these are the 6 parameters. Then how can we broadly classify this unit cells? Dia?
Into primitive unit cells and centered unit cells.
Okay, primitive unit cell and centered unit cell. Then which are the 3 types of centered unit cell? Michael? Michael, are you there? Michael, can you hear me? No? Okay. Gauri, can you tell me which are the 3 types of centered unit cell?
Body-centered unit cell,
Yeah.
face-centered unit cell, and end-centered unit cell.
Okay. Body-centered unit cell, face-centered unit cell, and end-centered unit cell. Punya, what is this body-centered unit cell?
If the particle is seen at the center of the body in addition to the 8 corners.
Okay, very good. That is body-centered unit cell. Then Adul, what is face-centered unit cell?
Particles are seen in the centers of each face in addition to the 8 corners.
Okay, very good. Then what about end-centered unit cell? Lydia?
The particles are present at center of 2 opposite faces in addition to 8 corners.
It is known as end-centered unit cell. So I think it's clear for you, these topics. Do you have any doubt? No, right? So we can continue the next topics in the next class. Today also there is one more class, right? Yes, so we can discuss it later. Okay, just wait, let me take your attendance, okay? Okay, children, so thank you. Bye, see you in the next class. Have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am.